Your thoughts?
I just couldn't disagree with Paul more. First of all, this is not a popularity contest, and women's basketball is actually rated decently well during the Olympics, so they're not starting from scratch. When you talk about this U.S. Olympic team, it is one of the hardest teams to make in all of sports. It is harder to make the Team USA women's team than it is the men, and here is why. Not every single top player, but nearly every top player who plays women's basketball is American. Not all of them, but most of them. Yeah. That is not true on the men's side. So if you were doing a draft of the best players on the men's side, there's a guy going to Slovenia, and there's a guy going, Nikola Jokic is not playing on the Team USA, right? Those are leaving spots open for other players. That's not happening on the women's side. All of those top players, nearly all of them, are going to play and be competing for those spots on Team USA. So it is a much more competitive roster to make. Team USA for the women's side also has the issue that it is not during a break in their season, like it is for the men. It is right in the middle of their season. So they're only going to have 7 practices between when the WNBA shuts down to give them this Olympic break and when they have to go start competing in the Olympics. 7 practices. That's it. So you want to get players on that team that have been part of the Team USA program. This is a 3-year process that they basically look at for this team. They've had multiple training camps over those 3 years. They've had players who have played in other international competitions together. And that is part of the age of this team. This is an older Team USA on the women's side than we've seen in the past because they want that experience there and that knack of them playing together. Caitlin Clark just turned 22. There is no under 26 player on this roster, as it's been reported. So there is a lot of time for Caitlin Clark to make an Olympic team. We expect her to make many Olympic teams in the future. There was no reason to rush her onto this roster and put her in a position where she wouldn't have been a fit, where everybody else had played together for all of these years. I love the news that she might be an alternate because that will put her around all of these players. Players from the beginning of time who've been young guys on Olympic teams have talked about, oh, I learned so much. I learned about this Kobe's work habits. I learned about this. I learned about that. It would be great for Caitlin to be around some of these older players. And by the way, having those older players get to know her better might tone down some of the animosity we have seen in the WNBA so far this season. But I absolutely think Team USA made the right decision here. I think Caitlin Clark has, again, reacted with such class to this decision, and I expect her to be on the Olympic teams in the future because she will earn her spot, not because she's popular.
She really, in my opinion, had no choice but to respond the way she responded. I mean, you just said there are no 22-year-olds on the roster. So what is there to complain about? I mean, like, I think we just assume because it's Caitlin Clark and she was the #1 pick that they was just going to just shoe her right into it. Here you go. We just going to put you on the Olympic team. There's been a whole lot of people waiting in line that are actually really, really good at what they do. There's only 12 spots, as you said. She's not better than any of these guards. Nobody. And then when you get to Diana Taurasi, you're not taking her off. Like, who are you taking off to give her a spot? The fact that she's an alternate, okay, what alternate is she? 1, 2, 3, 5, whatever. Her time is gonna come. And I tried to tell Paul yesterday the same thing you said, Rachel. Man, the Olympic Committee trying to win a gold medal, they ain't thinking about no damn ratings because their ratings are gonna be there regardless. It's the Olympics. Okay, and they don't care about the WNBA like that. They're caring about bringing home the gold. And I understand that we dominate all the time and we never lose games and all, but it doesn't matter.
Lost a game for 7 years.
It doesn't.
Olympics.
But it is getting more competitive.
But it doesn't matter because in the end they're gonna do the right thing. The right people that's supposed to be on there are on there, and she'll go in next time around 2028. She'll go again later on down the line. It's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. I think we putting a lot on it that she didn't make the team.
Would NBC have preferred she make the team? Well, sure, because Paul did make one interesting point. He just flat out said, if she's on the team, I'm going to watch every game. Right. And if she's not, I might watch. You know, like, okay, I get it. Because that might be how a lot of people will view this. And they're fringy, new fans, newbies, you know. Okay, I got that. I'm just relieved for her that she didn't make it because the resentment for her would have tripled or quadrupled or sextupled or what.
Yes.
It would have been hell hath no fury like Caitlin Clark being shooed into the Olympic team, because it would have been wrong. A lot of people would have loved the idea of it, and then here we go again, and we'd still be talking about that.
She's not playing great basketball at the level that people anticipated she would. So if you all of a sudden just threw her in there, we'd be like, huh? She would be into that the Kristen Leitner. Who else sat on the end of the bench?
I only remember Christian Leitner.
Yeah,
it was somebody else that but it was somebody in the W though that went to the Olympics but didn't.
Sue Bird went.
Sue Bird, but didn't play much, if I remember correctly.
No.
So do you want that? You just want that? You don't want that.
Right. I was going to say, then you would get, why aren't you playing Clayton Clark more and all of that stuff? No, Team USA is not in the NBC ratings business.
No.
The only business they are in is winning a gold medal.
That's it.
And part of winning a gold medal is about team play, right? We know this. Basketball is a team sport. It's not Caitlin Clark's fault that she wasn't in any of these training camps the last couple of years. She didn't have the opportunity, but she wasn't. And these players that have picked on the roster play as a team. They know each other's games. They know the system. They know the coach's system. And it is a competitive team. It is more competitive to make the Team USA women's team than the men's team. This is what is going to happen as Caitlin Clark faces its gauntlet going forward.
Yeah.
And I think she will succeed. I think we will see her on future Olympic teams. But we've had this happen with other players too. Candace Parker, there was a huge controversy over her not making an Olympic team 2 cycles ago, I think it was. Nneka Ogwumike, there was a huge controversy over her not making the Olympic team 1 cycle ago. So we see it over and over because the team is so hard to make.
Yes, 8 of these players, I just counted them, it's 8 of them that played together.
Yes.
Out of the 12. They played together in 2020. And then you got the Las Vegas Aces, they got 4 on the roster.
Play together every day.
And the Mercury got 3 on the roster. I think I'll take that.
And Arike Ogunbowale is second in the league in scoring at 26.6 a game, and she did not make it. So she probably should be first alternate. And Chelsea Gray hasn't played all year in Las Vegas, and she's maybe the best point guard in the game. And I don't know if she's going to be able to come back or not, but if she isn't, that would open that next spot.
Well, we'll just have to see.
Okay.
Rachel's like, yeah.
Well, no. I mean, we'll just have to see if Chelsea plays. We'll have to see which way the team goes. But I can't get hyped up about this because I don't think it's a wrong that needs to be righted. I think it's a right that they got right.
If I tried to find one person on that current roster and tried to make a case for Caitlin over that person, the only one I could begin to match up with on just how they performed so far in this year's WNBA would be Diana Taurasi. And if I did blind resume between the two of them, you'd say, well, maybe. Except Caitlin is running away with the turnover lead in the WNBA. She's not ready. She's not ready. And by the way, Diana did go to the camp, the pre-camp, and they said she played very well. And plus, she's the leader of the team.
She's been on 5 previous to this.
Like, you can't underrate that experience. She brings something different
Even
to
though
that
she'll be 42 years old when she plays.
And she might not
Paris.
play as much, right?
She get the Larry Bird treatment.
I would say this to Paul Pierce when he says, oh, I'm going to watch it if Caitlin Clark is on, and I might not otherwise. We keep flashing that roster up. There are some exciting players on that roster. And one of the hopes of Caitlin Clark coming into the WNBA was that it would expose people more to games, and not just to her game, but to the people opposite her on the court. So I hope some of those new fans have seen the Asia Wilsons. I hope they've seen some of the players on this roster who are going to do spectacular over in Paris. And I think that team actually is going to get a ton of buzz and a ton of attention this summer. The ratings are going to be good for this team.
Okay. Interesting. All right, let's get back to the Los Angeles Lakers, still looking for a head coach. Is their job overrated or underrated?
Underrated. Underrated.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.